You ever have one of those days where the whole world just feels sticky, like nothing moves? Not the heat, not your luck, not even the dust in the air? That was me, Ben Carter. Sitting under a rusty Dodge in a garage I inherited too young, sweat glued to my back, thinking nothing exciting ever happens in this corner of Missouri. Then a black sedan, sleek as a snake, rolls up, and suddenly it's like the universe threw a curveball right at my chest. You know what I mean? I'm used to pickups with farm plates, not cars that look like they cost more than my house. So when the window slides down and this woman in big city sunglasses leans out, asking if I can fix her engine, I already know this ain't your usual Wednesday. Yeah, that happened. She says her name's Valerie. Her words all smooth edges and practiced calm, like someone used to ordering $12 cocktails instead of bad diner coffee. Let's just get this over with. Except part of me's curious because there's something broken in her that isn't just under the hood. I fix her car in 10 minutes. Timing sensor. Simple as pie. Tell her to turn the key, and when that engine purrs, I see the surprise flash in her eyes. Like she'd forgotten how fast things can get better if you just show up honest and don't try to upcharge for air filters. She tries to pay me, and I wave it off. We don't put a price tag on kindness around here, I tell her, and that's when her whole face changes. Not just grateful, something heavier. She says, "You don't know how rare that is." And I believe her. That should have been it. But you know how it goes. Some folks come back for the service, some come back for the silence. Valerie was the second kind. Next day, she's at the diner across the street, coffee in hand, just watching the garage like she's waiting for a sign. By lunchtime, she walks over with a picnic basket, says I skipped lunch yesterday, and sits beside me on a tire like we're old friends. We don't talk about much. Work, weather, her hand shaking when she thinks I'm not looking. She asks why I never left this town, and I just shrug. Say someone's got to stick around when everyone else leaves. A week goes by, her showing up with little gifts, gloves, a book on engines, sandwiches with my name sharpened on the bag. Most folks would have called it weird, but there was something gentle about her, like she was learning how to be human again. One evening as I'm locking up, she asks if I've got a minute, pulls me out to her car, and from the back seat, she lifts a battered photo album, opens to a picture of a little boy standing with a soldier. "That's my brother," she whispers, voice all cracked edges. Says she had to see for herself if that kind of kindness was real or just a fluke. I don't know what to say. My chest aches in ways I forgot it could. The kind of ache that comes from remembering you actually made a difference to someone once. I tell her she could have just asked, but she shakes her head, says she needed to see who I was, not just what I did. Things could have ended there, tied up with a neat little bow, but the universe isn't that polite. Next morning, she's gone. Just gone. I go back to the quiet, fixing up old trucks, drinking bad coffee, missing a ghost. But then, 3 days later, another car pulls in. This time, not Valerie, but a stranger, says he's looking for her. Name's Logan. He's got city hands. No calluses, but he knows how to ask the right questions. And when he finds out she's missing, his panic's real. Says he's her cousin, but I get the feeling there's more to it. He stays in town, helping me around the shop, and over greasy lunches, I find out he's running from his own shadow. Lost his job, lost his purpose, just needed a place where nobody asked for resumes. Together, we look for Valerie, calling motels, asking waitresses, chasing dead ends. Each night, Logan tells stories about how she saved him once, years ago, kept him from sliding off the rails. She's always been like that, he says, helping lost causes, even when she's won herself. The twist? Valerie didn't just run. She left to close a door, back in the city. Her old company was about to buy out this whole town for luxury condos. She'd come here to see if there was anything worth saving, and somewhere along the line, decided there was. So she fights, really fights, you know? Calls boardrooms, threatens to quit, burns every bridge she's got. And in the end, she wins. Deal's dead. The town's safe. She comes back, quieter, lighter somehow, sits on my porch with that same picnic basket from the first week, and says, "I thought I came here to save this place, but I was saving myself." I look at her, really look, and for the first time in years, I let someone in, let myself believe the world can turn, even for a guy who's spent too long in one spot. As the sun dips low, except every story leaves something unresolved, doesn't it? Because when word gets out that the big city deal fell through, folks in town start arguing. Some say Valerie's a hero. Some call her a meddler who cost them their chance at progress. Truth is, nobody gets to be the villain or the hero all the way, not in real life. So now we sit on this porch most nights, listening to the cicadas, watching the world go by, and wondering what tomorrow brings. You tell me, what matters more? Keeping a town alive or moving on to something bigger? All it takes is a broken car and a stranger's smile to change everything you thought you knew about yourself. If this story hit you somewhere deep, if you've ever had your own crossroads moment, share it below. Was I right to stay? Was she right to fight? Or is there no right answer at all? Let's talk about it, because real life doesn't come with clean endings. But it sure is better when we share the ride. Funny thing about small towns, every secret eventually crawls out of the woodwork, especially when you think you've finally found some peace. And after Valerie came back, after she killed that deal, I honestly thought the storm was over, you know? Turns out, I was dead wrong. Word traveled fast that the big city buyout was dead. And at first, folks came by the shop just to shake my hand, slap me on the back, say thanks for keeping things the way they'd always been. But a week goes by, and that same gratitude turns sour. Little by little, like milk left out too long in the Missouri heat. It started with the mayor, showed up at closing time, hat in hand, not looking me in the eye. You know the type. At first, I tried to ignore it. I'd never cared for politics or backroom deals. But pretty soon I couldn't turn around without hearing my name and Valerie's in the same bitter breath. People acting like I was in on some conspiracy. Like I'd picked a side in a fight I didn't even want. Valerie noticed, of course. She was sharp, always 2 steps ahead, but even she couldn't dodge all the whispers. She stopped going to the diner. But she just stared out the window, jaw clenched, eyes far away. You ever try to fix something that can't be fixed? That's how it felt. The town that was always home suddenly felt smaller, meaner, like it was squeezing us both out, inch by inch. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. One morning, right as I'm unlocking the garage, I see a sheriff's cruiser parked across the street. Never smiles, always asking questions nobody wants to answer. He crosses over, real slow, leans on my doorframe, starts asking about Valerie, about her past, her business, even about Logan. He says maybe she's running from something worse than a business deal. That got under my skin, set off every alarm bell in my head. That night, I asked Valerie straight out, "Is there something I should know?" She hesitated, then handed me her phone, screen unlocked. Messages, voicemails, threats. Corporate lawyers, ex-partners. Even an old flame turned rival. Everyone wanted a piece of her for killing the Riverton deal. "I didn't just risk my job," she says, voice barely a whisper. "I might have risked everything." I held her hand, and for the first time since all this started, she let herself cry. Quiet, tired tears that spoke of years running, years hiding, and for once, nowhere left to go. Days blurred into each other. Richie kept poking around, stirring up trouble, and the townsfolk got restless. Someone slashed my tires one night, spray-painted traitor on the shop door. It hurt. Said maybe it was time for all of us to get out before things got ugly. But I shook my head. I'd spent too long running from my own shadows. I wasn't about to let fear win this time. About her brother, about why she came back. "You think you lost something," she said, voice strong even as her hands shook. "But this place is still yours. No one took your dignity, your homes." You could feel the whole town holding its breath. After the meeting, Richie tried one last time. Cornered me behind the garage, said if I had any brains I'd tell Valerie to leave for her own safety. "This town never forgets," he warned, "and it sure as hell never forgives." I looked him dead in the eye, said maybe that's why it keeps dying a little more every year. He just shook his head and walked away. That night, me and Valerie sat on the back porch, looking out over the empty fields. She leaned into me, tired but lighter, maybe even hopeful. "See you get back up." She smiled, the first real smile in weeks. And just like that, I knew we'd be all right. So here's where it gets real. Some folks moved out, angry at what they'd lost. But others stayed, patching up what was left, maybe learning that progress isn't just in buildings or paychecks, but in forgiveness, in second chances. Richie got transferred out. Turns out he had skeletons of his own, and when the dust settled, the shop was still there, my name still on the door. Sometimes the townsfolk stop by just to chat. Sometimes they don't say anything at all. But the ones who matter, they remember what kindness looks like, what forgiveness sounds like. Life doesn't hand out blueprints, and I don't have all the answers. But I do know this. Sometimes, all you can do is show up, love hard, and keep the lights on, even when the world outside wants you gone. Drop your thoughts below, share your story, argue if you want. Was it worth it? Is standing your ground ever really the right call? Or is it just another way of being stubborn? I'll be right here, listening, ready for whatever comes next.